everybody. Welcome to our interview today with Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally. I'm Dr. Maggie Yu, and I'm a functional physician, and we have an online program to help people transform and turn around their autoimmune disease naturally. And we have an online program that is about 2 months, and it's a launchpad program that launches you into a year of autoimmune healing. And for those of you that are just joining us right now, I want to give you guys maybe a minute or so. What I want you to do is go ahead and comment in the comment section where you're watching from, because that gives us a good idea of the demographics of people that are watching. Tell us a little bit about you and what autoimmune struggles you're struggling with, because that also helps us point you in the right direction with some resources. And so just give us an idea where you're watching from, give us a thumbs up, and tell us what autoimmune struggles you're struggling with. And if you're an alumni and you're watching or you're currently in our program, please write in the comment section, alumni, or I'm currently in the program, and just list any, and you can say, just say hi to us. We have 2 guests with us today, and some of you actually went through the program. We have LaDonna and Sydney with us, and I'm gonna have them do a really quick introduction of themselves right now. And give an idea of the struggle that Sid has been dealing with since she was a young child with autoimmunity with multiple diagnoses. And then her mom's going to give a little background on what that experience was up until this point in our program. So first thing first, let's introduce LaDonna and Sydney and just tell us what autoimmune challenges we've been dealing with. And LaDonna, tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are.
Go ahead, Sid.
Oh. So I'm Sydney, and I am 23 years old. Just like a little background about myself, I work as an education assistant, and I really enjoy doing things outdoors. But anyways, so I at 13 was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. So that was my first diagnosis. I struggled with it with digestive issues long before that, but yeah, so at 13 I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and then about 5 years ago I was diagnosed with another condition called erythema nodosum, and then within the last year I was diagnosed with psoriasis as well. So those are kind of the things that I've been dealing with. So it's been quite the journey.
It's enough. Between 13 and 23, you've been diagnosed with 3 autoimmune diseases, is what you're saying. Yeah. Mom, tell us a bit about you.
Yeah, a little bit about me. I'm Sid's mom, and I'm a mom to 2 daughters. I have an older daughter that's 28 and 3 grandbabies, and we have a full family and love each other and are really supportive of each other. And one of the things that we've all been really challenged with through all of this with Sid is finding an answer that would actually help her, as opposed to just throwing medication on top of medication. So when she was little, she had digestive issues. I struggled with finding the right formula because my breast milk was bothering her. So it started really early, the digestive issues, but the diagnosis came at 13, and it was really scary at that age to have my daughter come to me and say, Mom, I have bleeding in my blood in my stool. And that's how we really got to seeing the gastroenterologist and going through a colonoscopy and getting the diagnosis of Crohn's. And it's very scary as a mom to have that diagnosis thrown at us a little bit of paperwork, and here's some websites you can check out, and here are some things that you can do for now, but we're putting her on this medication. So I felt overwhelmed. I started doing research online. I felt a little lost about what the right answer was. I didn't want to immediately just pump her full of pharmaceuticals. So we tried some holistic options that didn't necessarily work, and we ended up going down the path of having to go on to a medication because she ended up sick enough that was necessary. So it's scary. It's scary to have your child sick and then not find answers that are real direct about how to address symptoms or what to do and what the right thing to do is. So that's kind of where I'm at as a mom. And now I feel like Sydney has hope because of the program, but also methods as an adult to be able to manage her disease in a way that she's healthy, that she's healthier and productive and being able to work and get back to her college education. And that feels really empowering.
I love this. So thank you. That was a great description of just what led you to here, work to this point. Those of you that are alumni or those of you that are in the program right now, go ahead and if some of you have been through the program with Sid and LaDonna, go ahead and comment in the comment section. Just say hi to us. We want to hear from you. And anybody with questions, or if there's somebody you know that can, with Crohn's, with erythema nordosum, or psoriasis, or any autoimmune disease that could benefit from watching this video, put their name in the comment section right now. So back to you, Sid, I want to ask a question, which is, you know, a lot of people don't even know what some of these names and diagnoses mean. Can you give us an idea between the Crohn's, erythema nordosum, and the psoriasis? What was at the worst in each diagnosis? What was the worst symptoms that you were struggling with?
So with Crohn's, really, so like my mom said, I had blood in my stool. So frequently I had blood in my stool, and a lot of pain, like a lot of stomach pain. And it was kind of just like a constant battle of like, is this normal? Is this not normal? You know? Fatigue, like I was so fatigued. That was really like my biggest thing, was fatigue. I didn't have the energy to do anything. And then with erythema nodosum, that caused like really massive bruising on my legs. And I lived in another state for a while, and I had to quit my job because I couldn't walk. And my mom had to come help me move back to Oregon. We're from Oregon. But yeah, so I couldn't walk, and they were super painful, like to the touch, and even just walking was incredibly painful.
Like gaping rash and sores all over your leg that hurt.
Yeah.
You can get infected.
Yeah.
It's god awful.
Yeah. And then with psoriasis, that one's still a little bit hard for me to talk about because it just kind of got out of control, and I had like huge sores on my hands and on my feet and on my head even, and I had lost like a huge patch of my hair because of it. So it just really affected me negatively.
Yeah, it affected your self-image because I mean,
yes,
and people can see your hair in your head right there.
Exactly. Yeah. It
affected your self-image. And so, okay, so that was a lot of different symptoms. And so before we dig into deeper, people are going to want to know, like you've been through our Launchpad program. It's a 2-month program online with us, and you just graduated 2 months ago. This is 4 months since you started. What are the results right now? And then we'll go backwards, but people want to know right now, well, why do this? What are the results that you have right now?
So my biggest takeaway really is energy. Like I have the energy to do things. I don't feel like I need to sleep all day. I actually have since started going to school, and I have a part-time job, and I'm living my life. Like I'm living my life with the energy to live a normal life.
Man!
Yeah.
This is the first time I've seen you in 2 months, and you look like a different person.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And you know what? Like my peers tell me that as well. It's really transformed. It's really transformed who I am and like what I think of myself, really, you know?
Yeah. I do know. That's amazing. So self-confidence, there's a big difference. Energy.
Yes.
It's crazy. People don't realize how important energy is until they have fatigue that's so exhausting they can't even get out of bed, do anything. So my question was, were you going to school or were you working before you joined our program?
I was going to school on and off, and I was not working because I had been so sick. So when I had moved back to Oregon, I pretty much recovered for like 7-8 months. And I just was kind of floating because I just didn't feel up to doing anything.
LaDonna, what do you see that's different? You're watching her from the outside. How is she?
I went I went to visit her in Jackson Hole, and I came home and told my husband, I'm going to take my dad's truck out and I'm packing her up and I'm bringing her home, because she was in a bit of denial about where she was at. And she had lost so much weight, and dark circles under her eyes. And really the pressure of working in an expensive hotel in the area, lots of tourism, really busy, and she was still going to work, and her weight was at an all-time low. And so I was scared. I was scared of the fatigue it was putting on her heart. And so from that point, I drove out. It's been a year ago that I went to get her and bring her home. And then over the process before we found your program, we were just working on healing, getting her healed with meds and getting her able to eat and getting her body, like the energy to be able to go to the grocery store or, do something alone. And that took some time. And then we actually posted a video, and that's how we found your program. We posted a video saying what's out there that we don't know about, because we were desperate, right? We were desperate. I was desperate. She was desperate. And I was like, well, maybe your voice will help someone else. And she said, maybe someone out there has something that will help me.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, totally. And that's how we found you, through Tyler's mom, which is amazing. But so what I see now, and from when we started just a few months ago to now, is that she's getting her self-confidence back. She has a great job. She's getting her prerequisites to go back into a program that she wants to do. Her color is back. And the ability to manage it with her own choices in food, and watching her take responsibility for that because of what she learned in the program, right? Because I could get on her about something she was putting in her body, but she's a grown up. I'm her mom. That's an uncomfortable situation. So she has the tools now to manage it herself, which that's huge. That's huge to me. That's huge. Just that piece.
How many of you guys watching right now, actually, who went through the program, really the piece about learning how to be the pilot, not the passenger, being able to understand cause and effect really was the linchpin and made a huge difference. If you're an alumni, comment about that. So I want to ask Sid or LaDonna, which is what natural, it sounds like you went the doctor route and did the MD, primary care provider, dermatologist, gastroenterologist, medication route. And then my question is, what natural things did you try prior to actually joining our program? I'm a functional medicine MD, so we're about natural and this balancing that with medication and medical needs. So that's a more functional approach towards autoimmune disease. So what natural things did you try prior to our program?
So I had seen a naturopath, and really we just kind of briefly talked about my diagnoses, which at the time was just the Crohn's disease. And there was a suggestion that we get food allergy testing done, blood food allergy testing done. And I did that. I got the results back. I was just told you can't have all these things, and it was pretty much everything, and and that was it. I just felt like, mine, by the way. I just felt like I was just kind of given a list of all the things that I can't have, and that was it. I was just kind of put out on my own to just kind of figure it out. You just figure it out on my own.
Yeah, and at the time we were doing gastro, the naturopath, and a PCP, and we found that they don't marry each other, that it doesn't work together. And that was I'm like, okay, do you want to see the allergy testing to the PCP? Do you want to see the allergy testing to the gastro? They don't want anything to do with that. So
there was multiple layers of bad in that, because your primary care and your gastro doesn't believe in allergy testing. You got allergy testing thinking, I'm going to spend time and money going to see a naturopath for this. And yet the information just told you to basically avoid everything on the planet.
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
Did avoiding everything on the planet through an elimination diet of all that stuff help at all? Did you do it?
I did it for, I didn't know how long I was supposed to do it to see results. So I did it for as long as I felt was necessary. And
really?
I didn't, what did you say?
How long was it really?
It was probably like 2 weeks, maybe less.
No, if you can't eat 90% of food on a planet, I don't know if I would last 2 weeks.
And I just kind of thought, like, this is not
BS.
yeah, this isn't doing anything. So I'm not doing this. Like I just said, I'm not doing this. This is too many things to eliminate, and I don't even think it's working, so I'm not going to do this.
So this is the issue, is a lot of people going through autoimmune disease or a complicated chronic disease will go see a naturopath or a functional medicine MD in all good faith, but they find that they will have either just an elimination diet, or they may even do food testing, but then they get data that's really inactionable. It's so overwhelmingly complicated, or they don't get a lot of good guidance. It sounds like that's what happened. So then even though you got some data, first of all, we don't know how reliable that data is. Second of all, you didn't have a lot of support or clarity on how to do it. Right?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. So my next question for you guys is, well, once you joined the program, you did our program, and what's the big difference? Like, why was it actionable so that you actually got results? What's the difference? Why do an online program versus all the regular doctor and natural stuff you've done before? Why do this? What was the big difference?
So really, like, I was taught how, in the program, I was taught how to, like, how to look at data, how to read my own data, not just hand data over to someone else and have them tell me what's going on with it. So I was, that was huge, knowing knowing what to do with data. So I wasn't just given food intolerance testing and told, like, you can't eat this, and that's it. I was taught how to read the data and how to implement that in my life.
Let's dig into that a little bit. How is that different? I mean, you went and saw a naturopath, you had food testing done, you talked to the doctor one-on-one. People would think that would be the best way to actually get something actionable and clear. So what did we do with you that was so different, though, specifically? What felt different?
I would say that, honestly, I was told how long to wait to see if there are any like changes in the way that I feel after eliminating certain foods. And it was right. I waited that amount of time and I felt different. I felt better. So that was really like a huge takeaway for me, because I probably would have done the 2 weeks and I probably wouldn't have felt any different, So that was a huge one for me.
I tell people a couple things, which is, number one is you have to get the right test.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad tests out there. So there's a lot of bad tests out there where everything looks like it's positive, and then and then the doctors think that that's real, and the patients do too. And then as a result, you eliminate so much that people go emaciated because they lose so much weight, and it's so difficult, right? So right test is really important, number one. But number two is we got to be very specific how we tell people what to do with this. So, I talk about clearing the waters for the first 6 to 8 weeks, where you eliminate the positives on a real test. But my first question, people want to know, nitty-gritty wise, you had a test with a naturopath that said everything should be eliminated. With our test, with your education and understanding around it, how many actual things did you really have to eliminate?
I had to eliminate like 3 things.
3?
Yeah, 3 things.
How many things did you add back in?
How many things? What?
How many things were you able to add back in as a result of this test?
Based on before?
Yeah.
Oh, like
everything.
I can't even keep track, really. I can't keep track. And it was such a, it's like a godsend. Because how can you live your life eliminating everything that's out there? I mean, you can't.
I think you're highlighting a huge dilemma out there for people.
Mm-hmm.
That people with autoimmunity or chronic disease can actually have a lot of false positives and negatives on these tests.
Exactly.
Doctors running the test don't understand it, so then they tell people, oh my gosh, you have to eliminate 90% of the foods on here. But when you actually have the right test, and you and I actually teach you guys how to actually understand what are some of the false positives and negatives on this particular test in the autoimmune population or chronic disease population, then you knew solidly it was 3 things and only 3 that you had to eliminate. And based on that, removing it for 8 weeks, and then we have a process for reintroducing it to see how much it really is affecting you. Right now, let me ask you, 2 months after you've been done with the program, how's your food? How's your diet?
Oh, I love it. I really love it now. I enjoy eating, and I didn't before.
Really?
Really, really. Yes.
And she takes the time to like manage her meals before she goes, meal preps, has her, everything is, you know, balanced with her fat, with her protein, with her, it's really awesome to watch.
Yeah. It really is. I take pictures of my food now.
Well, you know what I say, I take it really seriously. I'm like, it's not real till it's posted. One of the things we do is make everybody post everything.
Well, and another thing I have to say is that, especially like in the community in the program is really great, because there are a lot of things that, so like something that I cook almost not every day, but I cook frequently now is something that I saw from somebody else who had posted in the program. So it's just like the community is really great as well.
Well, a lot of times the community is very depressing in autoimmune disease or health-related support groups. But what's cool about our community is it's all alumni who've been through our program in our alumni group. And you know everybody's had the kick-ass training. And they're posting all their stuff, and it's contagious. When you actually, like, Suk has a cooking channel now.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Did you try any of her recipes yet?
I haven't, but I really want to, because they look beautiful.
They're so good.
Her meals look beautiful.
I mean, it's contagious, because I went and I visited an alumni in Pennsylvania. I visited Amanda, and she made me Suk's green porridge. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's
That's
so
really
good.
awesome.
I love that.
And it was cool because, too, a lot of people are like, the flexibility. Like, I remember, I think Suk's green porridge is made with ground cashews, cashew nuts, and I can't do cashew nuts. And Amanda just ground it up to macadamia and then made it with macadamia nut for me.
Yeah.
Like, so flexible.
Yeah.
You actually learn to love and enjoy food.
Yes.
Did you love and enjoy food before the program?
No.
It was a nightmare.
No, it was a nightmare. And I just snacked because I didn't know what to cook. I didn't know, so I just snacked, and that wasn't healthy for me. Because it was really like I snacked on like carby things or starchy things, and that, you know, so it just, and I never really felt like I would overeat, and I would always feel hungry.
Because you're all carbs.
Yeah. Yeah. And now I am like, I don't overeat at all, like, which is crazy. That's something that I never really thought that I would be able to kind of like overcome. I thought that was just kind of like a habit that I had established. Yeah. But I don't overeat anymore, and I feel like completely satiated after I eat. And I can tell when I haven't had a balanced meal. I can tell when I've, you know,
has an effect.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's not, I always tell people, it's not random acts of health violence happening to you. It's just causes and effect that you don't understand yet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Question, Mom. How was it trying to raise Sid, a teenager with 4 autoimmune diagnoses and a young adult? How was that for you as a mom? And what was your biggest struggle with that before the program?
It was frustrating, and it hurt my heart to watch her not be able to do the things that she loves and is passionate about. Sydnee's an athlete, and she won districts for track hurdles and got sick and couldn't continue. And it affected her senior year of high school. We went into an online program. She had times where it was hard with her friendships because it's a quiet disease. She looked like she was just making excuses to get out of a basketball tournament or to get out of a track meet, which is totally not how we operate as a family. Like, we're very committed when we do things. And so it wasn't a lack of commitment. It was just her disease was fighting her. It was scary because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to feed her. I mean, we tried to go gluten-free. We eliminated dairy. We did those things, and we eat relatively healthy, but it was really hard to keep her, healthy. It was hard to keep her fueled to be well. She was sick often. And when she would get sick, it was longer times with the flu, longer times where she was in bed because she was tired. At the time, as a teenager, we lived on property and she had a horse, and it would be times where she could ride and times where her horse was out to pasture because we just didn't have the energy to be able to keep up. So all of those life things that you want your child to be flourishing and having fun and enjoying weren't possible for her. And that was hard for me because I wanted to fix it, right? As a mom, we're there to make sure our kids are cared for, but also to correct things when they're not going well. And I couldn't fix it. I couldn't find the right answers. That was a big struggle. So watching her go through that and trying to manage finding the right answers, that was hard, really hard for me.
So I want to ask, there's a lot of moms out there that have done everything that you've done and have gone through the same trials and pain and hurt for their child and seen their child suffer like this. What made you first of all, what made you decide to actually join our online program? And second of all, let's answer that question first, and then we'll go on to the next question. What made you decide to actually do this online program, put your young adult child and you through this program?
Trust. I just trusted that this, based on Tyler, what had happened for Tyler and how he was feeling, and Natalie, his mom's story behind that it really did work, and how desperate they were when they came in, and I felt that desperate. I don't know that Sydnee's health was quite as desperate as Tyler's, but I felt that desperate that we needed a change, or things weren't going to go well for her. And so I just trusted. And then when we did the interview with yes, I was in Salt Lake City for work, and my husband was with me, and we were on the speakerphone, and actually a good friend of ours who we work with was in the back seat listening. And when we got off, she said, "If you don't do it, I'll do it. I'll pay for it." Because I mean, she was sold based on the questions that we answered and the answers that we got. It just felt like we were really ready. Sydnee was ready. And I think that that's important when you are at the point where you're desperate and you want to change. You're ready to take responsibility for correcting your health. Sydnee was there, and we didn't know how to do it. So I just knew. I just blind faith, listening, asking the questions. I knew it was the right fit, and I'm so thankful that we trusted and went for it.
Well, people want specifics because, I mean, so you jumped in based on basically evidence from somebody that you knew that did the program. And based on your own experience at our intake process, based on what the answers that you got. And then there was some faith to cross that bridge of fear to say, we're going to do it.
Yes.
Once in the program, specifically as a mom of a young adult with autoimmunity, what are some specific things that you were able to get out of this program that was completely game-changing for you as a mom dealing with this?
Yeah, as a mom, game-changing, the community, to have Sydnee have a community of people that can help her, to have access to you, that you're available if she needs you, that your staff is available, the mindset work that happens, that it's not just that holistically it has to do with your spiritual connection, your mindset, all of that. There are other things that play a factor, and having the tools collectively in one place. And really, when I've been to a doctor's appointment with Sydnee, now that she has these tools, and watching her interact with a new gastroenterologist, I think that's the biggest piece for me, is that Sydnee has the ability now to help steer those conversations with her MD as well. And that's empowering.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
We teach how to advocate for yourself because it's a huge educational process through our program. We also teach you how to think to win. We teach you how to collaborate with your different doctors. Tell me how this has changed how you interact with the healthcare system and doctors.
I feel empowered, to be honest. I feel empowered, and I feel I now know that I'm the best person that knows my body. And what I'm feeling and what I'm saying is important, you know?
As a 23-year-old, do you know how many 23-year-olds can say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and Sydney was on an infusion in the infusion clinic, and she had a conversation. I was there, and Sydney was advocating for herself at the infusion clinic. One of the nurses is wonderful, and Sydney actually fired a gastroenterologist and hired a new gastroenterologist with that nurse's help because she wanted someone that would listen to her. And so she has a new provider that actually is a listener. He listens, and they can communicate in a different way. And she did all of that on her own, where in the past I would have stepped in because she wouldn't have had the power to be able to do that. And I just quietly watched all of that happen, and that is amazing. That's amazing. That's a gift.
But I have to say though, before the program, we probably would have, she would have advocated for me, but we would have been thinking, oh, was this the right decision? Is this something we should have done? You know, now we can do things with conviction. I feel confident that I am in charge of my health. But yeah.
Huge.
It's huge.
It is huge. It is huge.
And I mean, I haven't seen you in 2 months. And a lot of what you're telling me, I knew there were some of those results, but to actually see you, and I think the biggest shift in you is the way you're speaking.
Yeah.
Sid, I mean, even though you went through the program and I saw you a lot in coaching calls, you didn't speak that much.
I didn't speak at all. I know. And I have to say, like, before I would have gotten myself so worked up to even be doing something like this. And I told her before, I was like, I'm not nervous.
She wasn't. She said, I'm not nervous to do this. And I'm like, yes.
It's like I feel like the real Sid is coming out.
Yeah.
Like you were hiding.
Yes, I was. And I used to let things eat away at me. And not anymore. I'm just like, I'm cool. I'm cool and I'm healthy.
I'm cool and I'm healthy, and my Instagram is full of all the good food I make.
My belly's full. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so what I want to do is for anybody that's watching right now, to learn more about our program, you can go to drmaggieyu.com. You can also join our Facebook group, which is Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally. And in the Facebook group, we have a ton of other patient client interviews that we've done, case studies and workshops that we've done to learn more. I want to thank you, you two, for coming on. And this was a surprise and gift.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're a gift, Maggie. We're so blessed to know you. Thank you so much.
We are. It does really seem like divine how this all happened.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, you guys. And thank you for everybody that's joining us, and anybody that could benefit from this, tag their name under the comment section of the videos. Alumni, thank you for joining us, and people who are in the program, thank you for joining us as well. And thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that.
Lupus, lung fibrosis,
Hashimoto's thyroiditis,
fibromyalgia, AS, which is a form of arthritis.
that's too far, extremely fatigued.
Pretty much zero joint pain.
Much more happy.
I don't have brain fog anymore. How much weight I have lost.
I want to see remission.
Maggie and her approach is very different than the traditional doctor.
I'm a totally different person.
I got a better understanding of what those intolerances were.
You're not alone.
The community is, I'm learning from everyone else's issues.
It's not just helped me, it's helped my entire family.
We are transformed.
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 Join the movement and transform your autoimmune naturally today.